Well, thank you very much, friends, for that very warm welcome. A full house, a full meal, full glasses, and a full wallet for the Ontario PC Party is going to be a great night. First, I want to thank our chairman, Tony Miele, for once again delivering an outstanding crowd for this evening's dinner. Tony, thank you for your hard work and your outstanding leadership once again, my friend. And let me also thank everybody. I really appreciate your generous support tonight, both in your contributions and taking the time to join us back in Thornhill. And I also want to say I'm particularly honored that Premier Mike Harris is also here tonight. Mike, thank you for your ongoing support, your leadership, and your dedication to this great province. And of course, I'm always happy to be back in York Region, although I tell you, it's always intrigued me that families in York have the highest life expectancy of any place in the entire province. Applaud that. It wasn't meant as a compliment. But it is actually true. And I've been trying to get to the bottom of this for years now. And my conclusion so far, based on tonight and the reception earlier on, red wine really is good for you. Now, I don't mind to say the crowd here tonight enjoys the Vino Rosso, but the last time I was here, Tony Miele and I were driving in together, and I said to Tony, you know, that's a rather funny place for a water tower. And Tony said, Tim, that's not a water tower, it's a vat. So no wonder you're always so welcoming. And I tell you, I actually really appreciate the warm welcome tonight, considering what happened to me this past week. It was another milestone in the glamorous life of being leader of the official opposition. You see, my daughter Miller is in Salsa Tots. It's a dance class. It's Salsa Tots. Now she's 3 years old, so it's really they play a bit of salsa music and they jump and spin around and clap their hands kind of class. And Miller just loves it. And the only thing that Miller loves watching more is PC Ontario commercials like you just saw. She happens to be in one. So anyway, the other day, Miller was at Salsa Tots with my beautiful wife, Debbie, who is with us here tonight. So Debbie and Miller walk into Salsa Tots, and the teacher says, Miller, we saw you and your mom on TV, and you looked great. And Miller was just beaming. And then the teacher turns to Debbie and she says, and who is that guy standing with you in the commercials? Life of an opposition leader. So I've got my new slogan, I'm Miller's dad, and I want to be your next premier. You know, Miller just loves that Salsa Tots class. And watching all of her new moves, I'm starting to understand that feeling that happens to all parents. The feeling you get when your children can do something that you cannot. It's a strange feeling. I'm proud that she can twirl and do the salsa stuff and time to the music, because I can't. But you're a little embarrassed, because you hate to admit that you can't do what your kids can. Proud, but a bit embarrassed. So welcome to the world of being a parent of young children. But I think for many people, it's also a pretty accurate description for what's happening here in Ontario today. We're proud, but we're also a bit embarrassed. We're proud to live in the province that has long been considered the engine, the leader in Confederation, yet embarrassed that for 2 years now, Ontario has been a have-not province, accepting handouts from the federal government while other provinces move ahead. We're proud of the dedication of our doctors, our nurses, our frontline healthcare workers who embody care and compassion. but embarrassed that the government wasted $1 billion on the e-health boondoggle while patients are being treated in an oil-stained ambulance garage, as they were recently at Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga. We're proud of the ingenuity, innovation, the drive of Ontario's entrepreneurs and industry leaders like so many of you here with us this evening. But we're embarrassed when the government doles out a sole source $7 billion contract to Samsung, a foreign multinational conglomerate for very expensive energy experiments. And we're proud of our police officers who protect our streets and keep our neighborhoods safe. But we're embarrassed that the system puts the criminals back on the streets before the officers even have a chance to get through the paperwork. Friends, we have the hardest working families, the most dedicated health professionals, police officers, the finest educators, the most visionary of business leaders. Yet still, we lag behind. Still other provinces that used to look to us for support and leadership, are now leading the way. Now let me be clear. I believe Dalton McGuinty means well. I think his heart is in the right place. The problem is that after 7 years in office, he's simply out of touch with what is happening in homes and in streets across our province. Did you tell him that slapping the HST down on goods and services that you use the most was a good idea? Did you ask for your hydro rates to skyrocket or tell him that you want to do your laundry late at night? Did you ask for foreign students to get $30 million in scholarships, $40,000 per year for 4 years, while our own sons and daughters struggle to pay the tuition? And did you say, sure, go ahead, teach that sex ed curriculum to my 6-year-old, and while you're at it, let them bring their cell phones into the classroom? But sadly, these are the priorities of the McGuinty government. But they are not the priorities of hardworking Ontario families. And how do I know that? Well, it's simple. We've been asking them. Friends, I believe I get the advice directly from Ontario families, and moms and dads, and business owners, and students. They always give it to me straight. Their advice, unvarnished and genuine. So that's why I'm in the middle of one of the largest, most extensive conversations with Ontario families ever undertaken. It's called Have Your Say Ontario. It's happening online, in person, and in town halls right across this province. And if you haven't had a chance to participate, it's as close as haveyoursayontario.ca. Now, the survey is still live, as they say. The results to date have not yet been released, but I want to let you in on some of the very latest results, hot off my BlackBerry. Now, I just ask you to keep them between us. If I see them on Twitter tonight, I know exactly where they came from. And while the results are troubling, it motivates me and drives me to work even harder because I know we must get Ontario off the failed course we are on today. For one, we ask people what issue is of most concern to you and your family. The top responses: taxes, leadership in Ontario, jobs in the economy, health care, and no surprise, hydro bills. And here's one I hear about a lot. We ask, are you concerned that the health care services that you need will not be there when you need them? 79% of people agreed with that statement. It's very troubling. And here's one that gets me up even earlier in the morning and keeps me up later at night. We asked point blank, are you worried about your job security? And how many people do you think said yes? 1 in 5? A third, perhaps? I wish that were the case. Over half of the people responding said yes. They're worried about their job security. 55% to be exact. So it means that even if you don't have that worry, someone that you know does. Someone under serious stress. Someone who fears what the future may hold for them, for their kids. And is that the kind of Ontario we ever thought we'd live in? The only thing I can promise to all those people who said, yes, I'm worried, is that change is on the way. Change that will give families the relief they need to catch up. Change that will get your tax dollars focused on the services that matter. Change that will put its faith in the private sector to create jobs and then get out of the way. And friends, in 315 days, a PC government will deliver that needed change.